What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about Silver Bullet. So this was a first time watch for me. I know that sounds crazy, but I just never got around to watching this for some reason or another. So yeah, I saw this pop up on Tubi, and I've known about it. I've been curious, and I've wanted to see it for the longest time. So I had to check it out, and I'm telling you what, I'm so pleasantly surprised with this movie. Not that like I thought it was gonna be good, but I would like it was even like better than I anticipated. Like I was just so happy with this movie. It was just good on so many levels, and this was just an extremely solid werewolf movie and just an extremely solid movie overall. So yeah, I had a great time with this. So jumping into a plot summary, the movie is set in this rural town, and there's this gentleman he's found dead, and the police just like chalk it up to an accident because he was a big drinker. They thought it was just an accident, but then other people are found dead, and people think it's a string of murderers. There's someone murdering these people, and it's like the same person is murdering these people. So almost like a serial killer, like, well, not almost, like, yeah, they think it's pretty much like a serial killer. But the main character, Marty, played by Corey Haim, he thinks there's something else at play. He thinks there's some sort of monster is doing the killings, and later on in the movie, he's actually confronted with a monster. He's confronted by this werewolf, and he realizes that a werewolf is doing the killings, and nobody believes him. Of course, he's a little kid. He's literally the boy who cried wolf, and nobody believes him. But he eventually gets his sister Jane and his Uncle Red, played by Gary Busey, to believe him, and they get a silver bullet crafted, and they plan to shoot and kill the werewolf with the silver bullet. So that is the basic plot summary. So just going down the line of stuff like that I really liked about the movie. I thought the story was great. There was a good mystery element, like when they were trying to like uncover who the murderer was, and then like once we realize it's a werewolf, they're trying to figure out who's the werewolf. There was a great mystery. There was like a great dynamic between Marty and Uncle Red, and Marty and Jane had a great dynamic. It's like that sibling dynamic where it's like you kind of hate each other at times, but like you really do love each other. So and they're kind of like butting heads initially, but their relationship kind of they become closer as the story progresses. So yeah, the story was great. The cast was great. I mean, Corey Haim, I recognize. I'm a pretty big like Lost Boys fan, so I recognize Corey Haim. Gary Busey, he's in all kinds of stuff. So yeah, the cast was great. The performances were great. All the main cast members did really well. Some of like the less notable characters did really well too. Like there's this one gentleman, and his son is killed, and just his reaction to the whole thing, and like his initial reaction is great, and then he kind of like he's like a broken man, and you just get to see him like break down. He just wants revenge. He's just like completely broken. So yeah, all the performances were fantastic. This movie was like way gorier than I expected, because 80s movies, even though like 80s is looked at as like the peak of horror, it's kind of hit or miss with the gore and practical effects, because that's arguably the best time for practical effects and gore effects But you know, a lot of movies during that time, like especially towards the mid to late '80s, were just totally getting butchered by the MPAA, where you know like all the kills and the gore would just be cut out. So I sometimes I go into an '80s movie thinking like, oh, you know, it's gonna be a bunch of cutaway kills because the MPAA was, you know, cracking down. But this this movie was just gory. It was bloody. The creature effects were fantastic. I liked how the werewolf looked. I don't I don't like a werewolf that looks too much just like a wolf, where like the werewolf is on all fours. And I like a good blend between like, you know, like almost like a wolfman type aesthetic, but not like the old wolfman aesthetic, like a, I don't know, like, and I like how the I like a werewolf to stand on, you know, two legs, and you know, stand like a man but look, or stand like a human but look like a wolf, you know. And this werewolf looked like so spot on to a wolf, like the face, like the eyes, the teeth, and I like how like the werewolf was huge in this. It was almost like the werewolf in like Dog Soldiers, where it was just like, this thing must have been 10 feet tall. So yeah, the creature effects were great, and then the music was really good too. I thought some of the musical cues were kind of reminiscent of some of the musical cues in like some early Friday the 13th movies. So yeah, I thought the music was great too. Um, Moving along, I thought Uncle Red, played by Gary Busey, I thought he was just the coolest uncle. He's like pretty much an alcoholic. He's always got a drink in his hand. Like, not even like he's sipping beers. Like he's just sipping straight liquor. Like he's going to hang out with his nephew Marty, and he's just got like a big old bottle of whiskey chilling by his side. He's like kind of he's like swearing a lot, and he's like a little bit rough around the edges, and he's just like a fun, cool uncle. He hooks Marty up. So Marty is in a wheelchair, but basically Uncle Red, like he's like really good at doing like work with like cars and stuff like that. So he makes Marty these like souped up wheelchairs that they basically have like the throttle. Like the first one has like a throttle of like a dirt bike, and it's like super fast. And then yeah, his souped up wheelchair, he calls it the Silver Bullet. But then like later on, Uncle Red hooks him up with this like even better wheelchair that's like this like dirt bike tricycle type hybrid wheelchair that it's like it can basically go as fast as a car. So yeah, Uncle Red was the coolest uncle. Like I aspire to be a cool uncle. Like I always said that like growing up, like I'm trying to be like the uncle who, you know, like at Christmas dinner, Thanksgiving, like, you know, slips their nephew like a beer or something. Like, because I don't have kids or anything, and who knows if I'm gonna have kids or not. Like, maybe not. I can't call it, but like, if I don't have kids, like I gotta at least be a cool uncle. Like, I got one brother. I don't know if he's gonna have kids, but he needs to, so that I can be a cool uncle. Like, I need to fill that role. Like I'm perfect for it. I'm telling you. Like if they had cool uncle auditions, or if they had, you know, like a cool uncle interview, like I would kill that junk. They would be like, will you give your nieces and nephews a beer at Christmas? Yes. Will you say inappropriate jokes? Yes. Will you show them cool movies? Yes. All that, you know. Sign me up. So yeah, Uncle Red, very cool individual. Okay, it's talking about like continuing on the theme of drinking, because I don't know, I like to talk about drinking sometimes in videos. People probably are like, why is he always talking about drinking? But I don't know, I just like to. So like everyone in this town was an alcoholic. It was crazy. Like everyone is at the bar every night. You know, of course, Uncle Red, he's sipping. You know, he wakes up, he's got a bottle next to his bed. Like he's always sipping. He's whipping out flasks at funerals. Like Uncle Red, we know he's sipping. Everyone else, they're at the bar like every night. And there's this one guy, because like early on, Marty is like going home with this girl that like he goes to school with, and her dad, he's like the biggest a-hole, and this guy's like the biggest, like not only is he the biggest a-hole, because he's like yeah, you know, disabled people, they're like a burden on society, they just take up all the welfare and the taxpayer dollars. Like this guy was the worst. And then he's like the biggest alcoholic too. Like homeboy grabs 2 beers at once out of the fridge, and he's like posted up watching wrestling. He's already got like a half full beer, and then he like grabs 2 more full beers out of the fridge. Like, is he gonna just chug them both at once? Like, what is he gonna do? Like, cause I mean, I was thinking like maybe he doesn't want to have to like leave his show. Like he doesn't want to have to pause his show. But I mean, he could always go during a commercial, cause if you get 2 beers at once, like one of them is inevitably gonna get warm. Like, I mean, I respect the sipping. I respect that he's gonna grab 2 at once. But I mean, it's not very practical. Like they're gonna get warm. Just grab one, grab another one during the commercial break. But I mean, he was a big guy. He was a big boy. So maybe, you know, he was just trying to, you know, he wasn't trying to do that much cardio, walk to the fridge like that. But yeah, everyone in this movie was like pretty much an alcoholic. And I thought it was so funny too, because Jane was collecting bottles, because she was like basically the werewolf. Marty like I think he shoved a firecracker. He shot like a firecracker, was like a bottle rocket or something, in the werewolf's eye, and then like the werewolf lost an eye. So Jane was going around town asking for bottles to like find someone who didn't have an eye, so they could figure out who the werewolf was. But because like she was just using the bottle thing as a way to like see everyone in the town. But there was this like bottle drive going on with the church. It was like some sort of charity thing. And then I was just like, all the bottles were kept in the Reverend's garage, and I was just thinking, like, if they're doing a bottle drive and they're trying to get money for charity, like they were only pop bottles. Like everyone in the town was an alcoholic. Why didn't you capitalize on that? Like if you're trying to get money for charity, these people, they probably drink a case a day. Like you could have got fat money for charity if you collected the beer bottles too. But like maybe they didn't want the kids to go around and collect the beer bottles. I don't know. Maybe it was a whole legal thing. But I was just thinking, like, what an untapped market for your charity bottle drive. Like, I mean, these people drink a lot of pop too. Geez Louise. Like I'm like John Daly with it. Like me personally, I drink Diet Coke like it's a water. Like I'm sipping at least 3 DCs a day, sometimes 4 DCs. Like I'm on my John Daly junk. Like I do drink water too though. Like I'm not like the most unhealthy guy ever, but I sip a lot of pop. But like, geez Louise, these people, in addition to their alcohol consumption, they were sipping pop like nobody's business. Like it made me feel better about myself, because like I thought I sipped a lot of pop. Like no, these people run through it. Like they get thirsty with it. But yeah, I just thought like it was crazy that in the garage for the bottle drive there's all these pop bottles, and everyone in the town is an alcoholic, but there's no beer bottles. Like they could have got fat money. Like they could have got a million off of bottle returns. Like that's how much people were sipping. I'm exaggerating, I'm joking, but probably $500,000. Still joking, but yeah, I don't know why they didn't grab the beer bottles. They should have done that. Okay, and then the last point that I want to get into is the transformation. If you're talking about a werewolf movie, you gotta talk about the transformation. It's important, okay? It's a staple of the werewolf genre, you know, where you gotta have a good transformation. And in this movie, I thought the transformation was pretty good. It was decent. It wasn't one of like the best werewolf transformations I've seen. Like there's other like um like American Werewolf in London. That movie is like the transformation in that is regarded as like the best one ever, and like even though I think like the actual werewolf in that movie doesn't look as cool, like the transformation in that in something like that is better. The transformation wasn't as great, but I thought like the werewolf itself looked great and like better than like a lot of werewolf movies. And it didn't bother me that like once we got to the transformation, it wasn't personally my favorite. Like I thought it was like the makeup effects didn't look the best. Like it did look kind of fake, but I mean it is 80s and it's hard to do a transformation scene. I'm not hating, but I'm just comparing it to like other stuff from the time. Like it's not the most like I don't think the transformation in this is iconic, but like the overall movie is so good. Like I don't care about that, but I gotta talk about that. I gotta compare and contrast a little bit. So you gotta talk about the obligatory transformation scene whenever you're talking about a werewolf movie. But even though I thought the transformation was just decent, it was serviceable, it was just all right. There was like a reverse transformation after they kill the werewolf. The werewolf like reverts back to a human, and the reverse transformation was phenomenal. Like it was the bee's knees, the cat's pajamas, super iconic, super memorable. So even though the transformation wasn't as memorable as I think transformation scenes from other movies are, the reverse transformation in this was great. The effects were top notch. So yeah, that was the last little point that I wanted to get into. So like I said, I thought this movie was great on so many levels. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend it. I think this is I don't know. This is like even though I just saw it for the first time, like I think this is like it's like a classic werewolf movie. I think if you're a horror fan, if you like werewolf films, if you like some of the actors involved or actresses involved, I think you should definitely check this out. It's a great movie. So that has been my recommendation, and that has been my review of Silver Bullet. Thank you all very much for watching, and peace out.